Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Sean. I'm one of the owners of the Bremen Theatre. And now I would like to take you on a journey through the history of our theater. We're going to start out with modern images of the theater. This is what you see right now every time you come to our building. And this building has been here for a very long time. At the top of the building, right above the windows, you'll see an inscription, W.M. Huff, 1888. That is when this building was actually built. It was, in fact, a hardware store with a bicycle repair shop on the top floor. Here's a shot from 1907 or thereabouts. On the right-hand side there, the building that you see is the corner, and we're just a tiny sliver on the edge there. So what I did was I grabbed a modern shot. You'll notice Carmen's Diner. That is where the three-story building used to be. They took the top story off. Not sure where they put that, but you'll see it there in the image side by side. Kind of the same shot there for reference. Now, like I mentioned, the top floor of our building at one time was a bicycle repair shop. The bicycle repair shop door still is up there to this day. Right here is an image of W.M. Huff, William Huff, inside the building next door, which actually had an entrance to get into the theater. Now, back in 1910 is when the building was actually put into service as a theater by Carl Poniter and Otto Fries. When the theater opened in 1910, it was called the Majestic. And on the left-hand side, there's an image there from the newspaper at the time. We actually have that blown up and in the lobby. We are very respectful of the history of this theater. The theater was actually managed by Wilbur and Mamie Drake from Goshen. They started managing in 1912, and then they eventually purchased the theater in 1918. When Wilbur Drake passed away, Mamie Drake sold the theater to John Swaim from North Manchester, Indiana, and he renamed it the Gem Theater. He ended up showing the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. This is a silent film, one of the more popular films of the time. Thought it was kind of interesting that the director of this, his first name is Rex, same first name as the other owner here. This movie is available on YouTube. It's in its entirety. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely check that out. But it eventually got sold back to Mamie Drake, and it returned to its roots as the Playhouse. She definitely was trying all sorts of things to get people to come in to watch movies, including what was called China Night, where when you came in, if you were a lady, you could present your ticket to get a piece of fine China dishware, and you just had to come back every time they did a China Night to get a complete set. Now, I don't know, the article didn't specify if they made enough of these China Nights to get a complete set, but if anyone's grandparents or great-grandparents has a set of these laying around, I would definitely be interested to take a look at those. So then it changed hands again through leasing. It became the Rialto, and it was only the Rialto for a very, very short period of time, about a year. One of those owners only lasted a couple of months. And then it went back to the Playhouse again, and keep this date in mind, May 2nd and 3rd was their grand opening. The economy of the United States was in a very bad place at the time. It was the Great Depression, and ultimately the Playhouse did end up closing. They were actually taking out ads in the newspapers begging for people to come in and support the theater, otherwise they were going to end up closing, which did end up happening. They did close. But then the theater was purchased by Loren Waltz, and they ran the theater from 1934 until 1980. Here's an image of the theater front in 1942, 1949. The Waltz family had a really long run with the theater and eventually sold it in 1980 to a man named Hollinger. He ended up going bankrupt, fleeing town, and taking a lot of the equipment with him. Here's the front of the theater at that time. It looked pretty rough. But in 1986, Betty Richards and her husband purchased the theater, and they had it all the way until the year 2000 when they sold it. The same year that Betty Richards purchased the theater, I was born, 1986. Rex was born 1987. And then sometime in the 90s, we both looked like this. Some would say we still look just like this. And then this shot, also sometime in the 90s, is of Hino Flores working in the theater, shown with Betty Richards on the right with her son Josh. Just behind him, you'll notice a gold framed mirror. We actually still have that mirror in the restroom upstairs. And on September 1st, 2000, Hino purchased the theater. He was 8 days before his 20th birthday. The first film that he showed was Space Cowboys, quite the film. And in February of 2002, Rex and I, we forged a good friendship, and we've been friends ever since, going to the movies. The next image coming up here is Hino Flores in the projector room. This is where he would do all the film processing, preparing it to run movies in the theater. And this is a great photo of Hino. We really love this one. In 2013, the projector and sound system were updated to digital picture and surround sound. We utilize the same system here to this day. It's a great system. And the first film to be shown on this was Iron Man 3 on May 3rd. Again, that's an important date, May 3rd in 2013. That was shown digitally. And then the last film that Hino showed with the theater was Captain Marvel, which coincidentally is the only film that I've watched outside the country in a movie theater, along with Rex. In 2019, after 19 years of ownership, Hino sold the theater to Tony and Katie Bartz. They ran it until February of 2025, when Rex and I purchased it on February 14th of 2025. For me growing up, the theater was always a very important thing to me, and I've made sure that as my children have grown up, be it with family, with friends, that they're having the opportunity to go to these movies, to create memories, to have these experiences, because it's something they're going to remember forever. And if nothing else, going to your movies with your friends is just something that you'll remember for a lifetime. Because sometimes something magic can happen when you're in that space with your friends. You know, you end up with your own movie theater one day. My son and daughter probably never would have expected that this could be a possibility, and I didn't either. Here's an image of Rex and I in the projector room holding a photo of Hino in the projector room. We love this picture of Hino, and we have it hanging in the projector room now. Hino's been a really great friend to us since we bought the theater, so we felt it was fitting that he always was standing in the projector room with us. He's over at the hardware store, so if you see him, say hey, or when you see him in the theater, say hey. He's awesome. But remember that date I mentioned earlier? Well, May 2nd, 2025, we open for business with Marvel's Thunderbolts. I don't know what it is with May 2nd and 3rd, but it just keeps coming around at the theater. I don't know if it's magic or happenstance, but it keeps coming around. But the last thing I'm going to leave you with is a statement from film director Sean Baker. It was at his Oscar acceptance speech this year, and as a theater owner, I couldn't agree with everything he's about to say more. This is a very touching speech for me, now more than ever as a theater owner, because I firmly believe in everything that he's saying. Thank you so much for attending this brief history lesson of the Bremen Theatre. We hope to see you again soon.
Guys, I'm going to take this time up here really quick to read something I'm very passionate about. Well, first off, thank you to the Academy. This means so much. Thank you to my fellow nominees. Your films are incredible, and it's an honor to be in this category with you. I'm going to put this down. So we're all here tonight and watching this broadcast because we love movies. Where did we fall in love with the movies? At the movie theater. Watching a film in the theater with an audience is an experience. We can laugh together, cry together, scream and fright together, perhaps sit in devastated silence together. And in a time in which the world can feel very divided, this is more important than ever. It's a communal experience you simply don't get at home. And right now, the theater-going experience is under threat. Movie theaters, especially independently owned theaters, are struggling, and it's up to us to support them. During the pandemic, we lost nearly 1,000 screens in the US, and we continue to lose them regularly. If we don't reverse this trend, we'll be losing a vital part of our culture. This is my battle cry. Filmmakers, keep making films for the big screen. I know I will. Distributors, please focus first and foremost on the theatrical releases of your films. Neon did that for me, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Parents, introduce your children to feature films in movie theaters, and you'll be molding the next generation of movie lovers and filmmakers. And for all of us, when we can, please watch movies in the theater, and let's keep the great tradition of the movie-going experience alive and well. And one last thing, my mother introduced me to cinema at 5 years old. Today is also her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Thank you for everything. And this is for you.